must accept change on everyday basis, or maybe every minute. I would not say no. So he should be ready, or she should be ready for decision making. So there are further in decision making also, I would say there are four different roles in decision making. So let's take one at a time. Okay, I'm introducing one word, and this word is going to go a long way with us in the unit. And the word is called entrepreneur. Who is entrepreneur? We need to understand detail later, but for now, I'll give you a person who really thinks to do something, bring a change, bring something new, initiate something, and that's entrepreneur. So that's a decision making. So he needs to find out, he needs to work for organization as if he's bringing something new and valuable to the organization and bringing up for his organization. Okay. Now, in decision making, there are sometimes not so easy decisions, right? There's sometimes issues, there's sometimes disturbances, some problems in the organization that exactly the decisions need to make made what is to be done, and that is a role which is another role. Now, not only that, there are other decisions that come in. Resources, very very important, inventory and resources. So in terms of man material, manpower, machinery. So manager has to take decisions so that he's using the resources the best way available and best way possible to achieve the targeted goal of the organization. Because obviously if you're not using your resources well, it really impacts your profits. And last but not the least, negotiator. Obviously, as a manager, you should be ready to negotiate within the organization or outside the organization. I'll give you both examples. What is within the organization? Within the organization, let's say there is a new machinery which is coming up, or new software which is available. So, and that is really increasing the productivity of your staff. Now your staff member tell you that this is the new software. If you bring this up, and you can book the directly, it's become more efficient and you get a lot of information and it's easier, and that will give us better profit. Now that will be a bit expensive software, so you need to go and talk to your manager, senior manager, saying, hey, this is what it is, the new packages come in the market, my team members are asking it, and we can use it. So you need to negotiate with the manager, right, or senior management, to justify how you think you will be able to do that. And also it could be that a new software package come, and let's say the management wants to, on the other way, if the management wants to input that new package and your staff members are not ready, saying, hey, we already doing the old package, why you want to do a new one? And then you have to negotiate and explain them how and why, right? That becomes internal. Let's go to external. Now, you know what, we have supervisor, we have suppliers, right? We have suppliers who supply you stuff. And also, now if there is something which suppliers, you have to bring the new supplier in the organization, and you introduce supplier, and you need to see the quotations and whatnot. You negotiate on the terms and conditions, you negotiate on the payment methods. There are a lot of things that you could negotiate on the quality and whatnot, that are called external ones. Okay. Now, there are a lot of roles that I'm telling you right now for the managers, isn't it? Do you think managers have to do only one role? They don't have to do one role. They have to change hats, many hats, depending on the situation, isn't it? Because, and if it is a smaller organization, I tell you, it's more than often that you change your hats very, very quickly. Now, but the characteristics of an effective manager are, that we must consider, is to ability to recognize the appropriate role in each situation. Because as I said, you may have to have different hats, but you need to have what is my appropriate role in that particular situation, and how should you behave as a manager. Now the second part which important that you know take a manager should do is the flexibility to change roles rapidly. As I said, you may have to take many decisions. You may be becoming a different, it could be a front office manager, and you may have to take a decision, or you may have to go down to a supervisory level and do that, or you may have to go and have a resolve a customer query in your tool packaging, isn't it? So there are very tasks that managers need to perform. So let's look at the various tasks that managers need to perform, because Managers are the people who are decision makers, right? Managers are the people who are actually supporting their team members. Managers are the people who are actually making the show go on for an organization. So need to see what are different tasks that a manager needs to do. Okay, the prime task the manager has is to have performance of the team. Yes, the manager must have to have performance of the team done. I still remember in many places I have been acting as a manager in my own personal organization where I was running my own business, or even as I was working as a manager in different different organizations I've taken that position on. So there are certain steps that you must take, certain actions you must take, so that you know you have to achieve a particular task. And let's look at what are the different tasks that a manager does take into consideration. The first task that I would look at to give a meaningful direction to the organization or company, or even to your unit what you are. Because if you are a restaurant manager, or if you are a travel what's it called if you're manager of reservations manager, if you're a tour operator, you have to give a direction to that, because you are now responsible for the actions of particular unit that you are in. Obviously, money makes a mayor go. That means you need to have checks and balances. What I'm trying to say is that you must have a profit generation, isn't it? And you must maintain the profit generation for the organization. Obviously, there'll be a lot of challenges in doing that, isn't it? There's a lot of competition, there's a lot of challenges. As a manager, you have to make sure you meet those challenges, you fulfill the criteria and requirements in terms of competition. You look at your competitors, you see how can you well make sure bring those plans up, bring the tour packages, so that you are well ahead of your competitors. Even if you're not well ahead, at least you're at par the competitors, and you actually are working for your organization and bringing the profits which are required. Now, another very, very important task of a manager is to motivate the team or subordinate. So when you say motivate the team, so what happens is, like, when you work as a human, you at times are not really 100% of what who you are, so, or your 100% efficiency. So there are many ways a team manager can, or a manager can really improve the confidence level, improve the what's called efficiency of the team. How? Motivation. Okay, can say, hey, well done. He can give some incentives, he can give some letter of appreciation. He can look forward to training, do one-on-one, have some informal meetings, have some group, sort of a what's it called, a relaxed group get together. There's so many things that you can do as a manager to motivate your subordinates. Now then, obviously, remember this: an organization is very successful due to its employees and systems in place. If an organization has a good system and good employees, I tell you, organization can never fail and they will succeed. Now, it's very well, it's a practical and ironical at the same time. What happens is that if you see a good staff member, okay, in your team, always as a manager respect that, and keep in mind that he is a good in at his or her work. He is being noticed by others. That means if his aspirations are not fulfilled, and his talent will show off somewhere or here there, and then he may you must retain the talent in the organization. So if someone is good at making tour packages, and or communicating with your clients, and or maybe negotiating, you must retain that talent. That means the person who's doing that, who's good at those things. How do you do that? You actually communicate, you encourage the person by giving them, as I said, incentives, by acknowledging their good work, by giving them awards and functions and whatnot. And obviously, if there is something in terms of monetary benefit, why not? Because they're doing the work, they must get any incentives to be with you. Now, there's a very important thing that I want to share here, that there are people sometimes who work in a department and they retire from the department. So, especially government jobs, and but in the private organization, things don't work the same way. isn't it? But not all. I know of organization where people work as a private organization. People work for whole of their lives, and they just retire from there. They keep on moving ahead. They have higher positions and they move on. So that's called sense of loyalty among the employees. So when they see that their colleagues and the seniors, their peers, they have ranked up in the organization and they have got benefits and all, so and then you tell them how good the organization is, and you actually it's actually seen in your actions, and it's not that you just say whatever is there, but you look at the welfare of their your team members. You get their confidence, and as I said, due to your leadership qualities, you actually have to have those emotional intelligence about your staff members. You know them and then you support them, and that will bring the loyalty within the organization for the team members, so they'll still be there sticking with the organization, not leaving on. Okay, now getting new ideas is very very important aspect for any organization growth, because with the change, with the technology development, with the latest trends coming up, this change is a law of nature. So that means you have to evolve yourself, you have to keep improving yourself, right? So obviously, the new ideas must be gained and attained, and you must involve your team members to get those ideas, to implement those ideas, and obviously those ideas will bring a transformation business, and they will translate into success of particular function or business that you're working on. Now, when you say so, it is also important that you get ideas, but also what about the skills of your staff members or the team members? It is imperative, I'm repeating that, so that you upgrade the skills of the your staff members. Yes, at times it will be a bit difficult task, but it is very very important so that they have the updated skills, and obviously they can do the job better. And also they're not sitting doing the same job for years and years. They're not monotonous. All right, for doing so, you must be actually, as a manager, you must be updated of the latest information of the industry, what's going on within the organization, outside the organization, what's happening with the staff, how is the staff behaving and whatnot. So these are the various tasks a manager does. So I will take you through now the responsibilities, some of the responsibilities that that is being taken care of managers. So to be very honest, if you look at it, tourism is actually a service industry, right? So in the service industry, customer really is the king. The customer comes first, because as I said, we do not have any products in our tourism. We don't give anything in a product. Our products are maybe tour packages. Our product may be going and staying in the hotel, wherein they don't, when they come back, they don't really bring, if they pay you know uh, 1 lakh rupees, going to a tour package, they come back, what will they have? They will have memories and experiences. But instead, if they pay 1 lakh to any other industry, for that matter, entertainment, in 1 lakh rupees they may get a big maybe 60-inch TV, right? But and they will, that 60-inch TV will stay in the house for next maybe 4 or 5 years. But for us, for tourism, we have given them a package of 1 lakh rupees, and they come back, maybe come back in 10 days or 5 days, and that's there in their photographs of wherever it is, and they don't have anything tangible in the hand, right? So the most important part for us in service industry becomes that we satisfy our customers, right? So we as a manager, we must be responsible towards customer, regarding the needs, look at the needs, proactive the concerns, if they have any issues, if they have the quality of product. For us, the product is the tour package or staying in a hotel, whatnot. So we need to be very very careful for that. So that's a very big responsibility as a manager, to make sure that your team is actually following this and understanding the same way as you are. Okay, now a manager is also responsible in an organization towards employees. How? By making sure that their wages, the salaries are given at time, on time, the correct wages are being given, and their provident fund is being, all the facilities and functions or perks that are expected of an organization must be given to the, to the employees or your subordinate, your team members. So it's again comes back to you as a manager. If someone has any issues, you make sure you promptly or actively go up and fulfill that issue and resolve the issue, so that team member is not victimized, or not victimized, team member is not short of anything which he is supposed to get. Okay, now then comes very good relationship. As I said, that we have suppliers. Who are suppliers? Suppliers are our supporters. They work with us. Yes, they really really work with us. If I may not, if